I'm going to talk with you today about my search for my maternal grandmother, Helen Gardner. When I was growing up, I knew two things about her. Number one, she was invisible. Number two, she had been a silent movie star and had produced films, silent films with her own independent production company. In 1992, my mother died at the age of 88. And this a very strange change came over me. I suddenly became obsessed with having to know more about my grandmother. I had to search for her. I had to find out what she had done. I had to find out everything I could about her with fresh eyes, not filtered through my mother's stories, my mother's memories, my mother's eyes. So I found out that the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. had a print of one of her films, and I went there to see it. The film is A Daughter of Pan, which was one of her independent productions, and she played a nature girl, a wild-eyed, matted-haired nature girl who turns into a princess. And I found out at the Library of Congress that there were other films of hers that had survived. So I went to Europe, and I went to Paris to the National Film Archive there, the Cinémathèque Française, and I saw her great film, Cleopatra, which she had made in 1912, her first independent production. And I saw it there on a big screen. And I cannot describe how incredible it was to see my grandmother, whom I had never known, to see her live on that movie screen playing the Egyptian queen. I mean, it was an incredible experience. Then I went on to London. At the British Film Institute, they have several of her one-reel films that last 15 minutes. They have several that she made with Vitagraph Company of America, one of the leading film companies of the time. I saw those, and then I went to a place called the Cinema Museum, and they had found the original silver nitrate copy of another of her independent productions called A Sister to Carmen, which she made in 1913. Silver nitrate was the material that silent films were all made of, and they have been restored now and put onto acetate film stock because silver nitrate is very flammable and very perishable, but it makes a beautiful print. So the man at the Cinema Museum had found this original, and I watched it again in completely rapt, total overwhelming emotion to see my grandmother in this film. So I managed to get a grant to have the film restored into the acetate film, and I was invited to take it and show it in Europe, in Italy, at the International Silent Film Festival at Pordenone. Then I went to Amsterdam in the Netherlands, where their Netherlands Film Institute had several other one-reel films that my grandmother had made with Vitagraph Company of America. I went back to the Library of Congress, which has an extensive collection of movie magazines from the 1910s. These were the very early days of silent cinema. And in those magazines, I looked through every single copy that they had in their collection during the period that she was making films. And I found articles about her. I found interviews with her where she was speaking in her own words. I found reviews of the movies that she was making. And I found advertisements that she had put in for the films that she was making with her own production company. And they were breathtaking. She put them in the Moving Picture World and in the New York Dramatic Mirror. And in that publication, she was on the cover 1 month, and then she had these absolutely beautiful ads for her productions on the back covers in full color. So she was doing very interesting things, I discovered. And I began to recover the life of the grandmother that I had never met in person, but I was getting to know her through her pioneering film contributions. I will talk more about what silent movies were like and that culture of silent films, and then we'll talk more about the company that my grandmother established in 1912.